Bledisloe 1, 2003, Telstra Stadium underway. And the first touch from the kickoff to Lote Tuqiri.
Well, immediately, the question is asked of these two huge forward backs.
No ball, lads.
Scrum down, All Black speed.
Wait for me.
Wallabies need to start well right in the front row.
Stand up and calm down. Stand up.
And for Australia to excel in this, they've got to make sure they win the hit.
Stand up.
It's only a half a metre between these two backs, but it's the team that gets over that half a metre the fastest that will win the engagement.
Scrum going down twice on this side. Penalty New Zealand. Jerry Collins on the march. 10 from halfway. And early nerves. Lack of composure there from New Zealand.
Well, you'd have to think that that was a bad call from that situation. Opportunity to punch deep into the Wallabies territory. And they had a crack. Just a little error.
Stand up, listen, wait, no.
Interesting to see Jerry Collins running straight at Stephen Larkham.
Mark there. Left locked in.
He'll be doing that all night tonight, trying to unnerve Larkham in his first game back.
Come on, give it up.
Well, they've got a bind up on the body of both front rows. Referee not saying too much at this stage. Bill Young trying to get that left arm through under Greg Somerville's and up onto his body. Greg Somerville trying to stop him, and he'll be penalised.
Tit for tat, and this is a penalty situation for goal for the Aussies.
And once again it reinforces that you've got to get out of your own territory if you have the opportunity to.
Matthew Burke, he's about 38 metres out and 20 metres in from this broadcast touchline. Let's have a look at the AXA angle here for Matthew Burke. Well, it's about another 16 metres out from where he kicked the winning penalty in the Bledisloe last year, and he's closer in, so you'd say it's an easier kick. The angle just 17 degrees.
Matthew Burke, by his own high standards in his last game, knows that he didn't do well. It will be crucial for him to make sure he gets a good strike of the ball, get the 3 points, get himself into this game.
Well, Matthew Burke is the man who started this Bledisloe domination for Australia. The Wallabies have held it for 5 years in a row. Distance, okay. Not the accuracy. So that was a big let-off for New Zealand.
Not a great start for the Wallabies. Matt Burke didn't strike it that well. Went out to the left-hand side of the post. The Wallabies need to regroup, get the ball back and hold possession for a lot of phases.
During the week, David Giffen had been speaking about how they're going to try and change their tactics around from their last few games. You've seen that right from the kickoff where they did the opposite kickoff, went to the different side to Lote Tuqiri. What will they have in store for the rest of this game?
There's half a dozen balls on the field. Now we've got one.
So Spencer. Well taken by Burke, and here's Tuqiri.
Away.
Stood his ground well. 10 from halfway. Quick ball for the Aussies. Larkham and Sailor. Rockathoko there.
Stay back, wait.
Australia's been turning over a lot of ball out wide. They've done well there. This is Kefu. Almost lost it.
Go on.
George Gregan can see it.
Get away. Get away. Go on, stay away.
But it's a turnover. Marshall. Rockathoko. Jerry Collins, 7 metres out. Marshall now. That's McCaw.
Away, Tucker.
Marshall again now. Here's Spencer. Umaga. Thrown away. They took a wrong option there. Howlett, Muliaina were outside.
Thank you.
Wonderful work by Flatley to cover and then to stop the man coming back straight.
Okay.
He's really concentrating. They put pressure. That's Sailor on the reverse angle. Missed Rockathoko. He picked up Collins inside, but Kefu in cover.
Lovely tackle, Elton Flatley, around the legs, bringing down Umaga. But it was the missed tackle by Wendell Sailor early on that put Australia under immense pressure.
100k plus coming at you flying.
Okay.
Elton Flatley felt every kilogram of that one. The head will be a little bit shaky at the moment, but he'll come back strong.
Well, Spencer turned the ball inside there with 3 men on the outside. It was an unexpected option, but Australia read it well.
This is the place for great balls.
Wait, stay there.
Regan.
Play on. Hold it.
Nice left foot kick from Matt Rogers. He's got plenty of distance on that one, about 13 from halfway.
Good left foot kick by Matt Rogers. Good to see he's getting the ball out, not giving the All Black back three a chance to attack with the ball.
Everyone reacted instinctively, and that's a good sign. Just flicked the ball out when they got into trouble.
That's fine, go on. Stay there, that's fine.
No score in the game, we're in the 6th minute.
Play on, big stay.
The referee managing it well. Here's Collins again. Taken low there by George Smith.
Get away. Wait.
It's on Australia's side of halfway here. That's Somerville.
No hands.
Good clean out by Mialamu. Spencer now with a tester for Matthew Burke. He sizes it. Here's Howlett. Saylor cleans up well.
Wait, stay there.
Bumped into one of his own teammates, but it didn't interfere with the defenders. And now Stephen Larkham, as Australia scurries into touch again, but under pressure.
The Kiwis marginal that time. Howlett offside where the kick was taken by Carlos Spencer. Marginal. She puts on a lot of pressure.
An All Black side full of running, Buddha. Gee, they're running well.
So New Zealand dominating the territory in these opening minutes.
Leave him in the air, wait!
Chris Jack at the front. Reuben Thorne came into rip. Spencer. Umaga out wide. McCaw's with him. Umaga holds on. Well, a host of players out here on the rights. Mialamu into David Gibbon. Good ball for Marshall. Major takes on Moore and Smith, the two flankers. And Australia's turned it over. So a bonus. And Smith and Moore in concert there. And now Rogers. Here comes Saylor. Saylor now with Flatley in support. Flatley. Cannon the hooker. It's 10 metres out for the Wallabies. Big overlap here. Kefu. Burke. Yes! What a mighty try by the Wallabies, and it came from Matt Rogers.
Well, what a reply. Listen to this crowd go off. Matt Burke, you're still a hero. Rogers in the 13 jersey. Now, is that an unbelievable selection? They didn't know what he was going to do. Umaga had his back to him. Marshall struggled. Rokocoko went inside when Wendell got the ball. But they spread it wide through Gregan and Burke. Go, you good thing.
Wasn't the beautiful angle by Matt Burke that he came in. Todai Kefu juggled the ball. And George Gregan patting them on the back. All came from the great turnover, 60, 70 metres downfield.
Phil Waugh, take a bow. Good work, Eddie Jones. He said bring the two flyers on, and it's worked up early.
Well, it's forced a critical turnover, and now Burke with the chance to make it 7-0. Well, he's not hitting his goal kicks well, but that's one of his better tries. Wallabies 5-0. So the Wallabies getting the ball wide. Saylor and Takiri both getting early touches in the game.
It looked like Wendell Saylor had bombed it and gone too far, had Elton Flatley on his inside shoulder. But Flatley did well. He calmed himself, waited for the support of Cannon to arrive.
And the flying Cannon didn't major feel that. He's bumped him off.
Well, that's inexcusable. The Wallabies allowing that ball to bounce into touch.
And I've got Andy Hayden sitting beside me. Andy, what are your thoughts on the All Black start?
They'll be looking for more effort from Marshall. He's made a couple of crucial mistakes. I'd say they had a very good chance to get themselves into the game earlier on. They've blown that.
So there's Todai Kepu winning crucial line-out ball, and Larkham again. And getting a nice piece of that one to the 10-metre line.
Well, he's kicking with the wind, Steve Larkham. It's swirling around here at Telstra Stadium, but it is favouring the Wallabies and favouring this current side of the field.
And in this line-out, Australia are keeping it simple. That's all they need to do. Nothing fancy. Get the ball in, get it out.
Well, here at the front is Jack up against Todai Kefu. That'd be a go-to position.
Knock on there by Ali Williams. Couldn't pull in his own line-out throw. Larkham, Rogers again, and Burke's outside. So it's 12 from halfway.
On his feet! You didn't win it!
So Australia holding onto the ball on the ground, and that nullifies much of their good start, because this is in very good range for Carlos Spencer.
Doug Howlett right out on this touchline, putting his hand up. He was looking for the opportunity, but it's Ali Williams just failing to secure at the middle of the line-out.
So the Matthew Burke try, the only score of the game so far. Well, it's a magnificent evening here in Sydney. Lightning fast surface and conducive to some great running rugby. Well, Matthew Burke surprisingly off colour with his 2 attempts. Let's see what Carlos Spencer can do.
Well, the wind directly into his face. Needs to keep this ball low and push it over and get the first points on the board for the All Blacks.
His first run-on test against Australia since 1997. No problem with the distance. And he snuck it over. So 2 points the difference.
We spoke earlier about the simple things that Australia have to do if they want to get away with a win in this game. And by one poor call off a kick-off, all the good work they've done for that first try gone out the window. They've lost that advantage. Now is the time they've got to look hard and regain this kick-off.
So Elton Flatley. Flatley playing his 25th test match tonight for Australia. That one coming down near the 22. Reuben Thorne, the skipper, number 6, just standing off, directing traffic here for Marshall. Spencer. Collins. Again attacking Larkham and Flatley. But the Aussie backs were strong on defence. 22-metre line.
Oh, I think the All Blacks are concerned with this wind in their face. They're trying to get out of their own 22 with no success. You see the ball pulling up. Matt Burke, a chance to attack with Takiri.
Takiri over halfway. And the support arrives well. Matthew Burke was actually the man to clean out first. You're hearing a lot of constructive talk from referee Tony Stradbury. Kefu met behind the advantage line. 5 metres behind. Now Smith. He's driven back in the tackle, but almost wriggles free. Gregan. Larkham. Banana kick, a comfortable bounce here for Muliaina. Burke takes him. 35 metres out from the All Black goal line.
Australia need to regroup here and get the defensive line up and keep putting the pressure on the All Blacks.
Spencer again. Larkham has to hair for it. Spectacular. A catch in the outfield.
Go back.
Very crucial one too, because if that had bounced away, the All Blacks had big numbers.
Great recovery by Australia. Back there in numbers to look after Larkham and get over the top and blow the All Blacks back out of the way.
Well, they're keen to counter here. Muliaina again. Cannon with a good tackle. Now Jerry Collins. There's no halfback. Howlett comes in. Mialamu. Bill Young getting through some good early defence as well. Marshall. This is Chris Jack.
Get away, tackler!
The All Blacks aren't committing too many to the ruck. 2, 3 and 4. That's all. They've got plenty of numbers to the left-hand side.
Spencer kicks again. Howlett coming through. Burke underneath. and he's allowed to call for the mark inside his 22, and he gets the free kick.
Well, as yet the All Blacks aren't getting the go forward that they need. Forwards aren't getting as far over the advantage line. The kicks are going to hand, and Matthew Burke safe under the ball.
And when the All Black forward pack is stifled and not going forward, what a great kick by Burke.
And great work too by Marshall to keep it in play. So Carlos Spencer again. And that's a beautifully judged kick by King Carlos. From 12 metres out from his goal line, he's taken it over halfway.
Again, though, what it's done is it's kept the pressure on the All Blacks. Marshall needing everything to keep that ball in, and then the pressure directly back on Spencer to make good territory.
So Torai Kefu, the money man again in the line-out. Now something's happened here.
Juicy ball.
Obstruction against them, pulling them back. Clearly possession, no problem at all. Their back row run towards it and you just pull him back. Very silly. Go steady, okay? Okay?
So Dan Vickerman, the man penalised. Australia has possession. Absolutely criminal.
He's nodding, he knows what he's done. It's pretty clear.
Tony Spreadbury, the English referee, he'll be talking to the players all night, calling them by their first name, and they'll respect that.
Interestingly enough, we see the All Blacks going for the line. They don't want to go for the points. They want to try and crack Australia, get that psychological advantage in this first half.
Well, apart from Australia's breakout try, New Zealand has dominated the territory. It's been mainly down around this 22 area, between there and the 10-metre line, and New Zealand now in a grand attacking position. Spencer, Major, Spencer on the loop. Howlett's in from the other wing. Rogers stays with him. Richie McCaw, number 7 here. This is Jerry Collins and Spencer again. That's Ali Williams, the big lock, getting involved. Spencer, they're on the run here. Major, almost an intercept. Mialamu, and into touch. Smith was across, so too was Cannon, and George Gregan was overseeing.
Sensational attack and defence equal to the task. They moved the ball from Ali Williams so quickly, and they got width. Look at the cutout. The wing cam down low shows you all the action. Beautiful defence.
Kefu gets another line-out win. That's his third. Now Larkham. They converge quickly, but he still had the presence of mind to judge it to perfection.
Lovely kick from Larkham. Needed to take the pressure off the Wallabies, but now they're back in defensive mode. They need to try and steal this line out from the All Blacks.
Go, give me the space, go.
Kefu's taken up where he left off in the last couple of games, really starting to come into form and showing another unseen dimension to his game and actually jumping for the ball.
Oh, it's a tough throw there for Thorne. Smith's harassing, so is Major. Knocked back.
Hands away, stay back, leave it.
Gregan has it for Australia. Untidy line-out work again from New Zealand. Rogers. Sailor. This is Muliaina, the fullback, who loves to run it back. But there were 4 Wallaby players there waiting for him. Spencer again. Hammond.
Leave it, go, go back.
Catching him behind the advantage line, cutting down his options.
Get away. Stay back.
Marshall goes in to big Chris Jack. Good hands from Umaga and Muliaina. Howlett again. Wallaby defence regroups. But New Zealand through Mialamu, the hooker.
He's having an outstanding crack, Kevin Mialamu, again tonight.
Here's Aaron Major. Spencer's out wide. More outside centre. But look at Brendan Cannon up there on Umaga. And front of the front row forwards.
Gee, the roving commission of these 2 back rowers for the Wallabies has been really telling. They've got a high work rate. Great pass, they got good width. Howlett, looking for space, gets hammered by Kefu.
underneath the ribs, straight to ground. Cannon moving around the field. I didn't think it was a great option for Matt Rogers early on to put the ball to boot the ball, sorry, and, you know, I really think he needs to keep control of the ball and play it down there into the field.
2 points the difference here at Telstra Stadium. Australia in the lead. So we're through the first quarter of the game. Carlos Spencer not having as much go-forward ball as he'd like, and the Australian cover is really asking questions of him. Well, what about Carlos Spencer? Let's see how he's handled things so far.
Loves to get width in the play, spreads the ball wide, and here's the general talking inside and outside and getting the ball wide.
Let's out. Thank you. Give him a shoulder to bind on both of you doing it, right? Let's go on with it.
Tony Spreadbury, the referee, loves to try and push that authority on this front row to get them working. Good pressure from Australia.
Marshall, the pass from Collins wasn't a good one. Muliaina, and they bundle him over the touchline. Again, the execution letting New Zealand down. Nowhere near as crisp as last week.
They don't seem to have that patience that was aplenty. They haven't balanced yet. Came to the side, and the Qantas wing cam again down low.
Marshall with a good pass to Spencer. He's over the advantage line. Major! Spencer on the loop. Rokocoko! He's got the pace! He's a try-scoring machine. The Fijian-born Joe Rokocoko. That's his 8th Test try in only his 5th international.
What a fantastic pass from Carlos Spencer. Took it to the line. That's where the try was made. Took it to the line, you see there. Drew in Elton Flatley. He couldn't do anything about it. And Spencer gets the ball back again. And Wendell Sailor, the second miss. Fantastic try by the All Blacks.
The classic speed of Rokocoko just got outside his man. Wendell is likely to start off inside. Well positioned. Rokocoko stood him up, then went away. Classic play.
The Australian backline, they were standing there watching. The All Black backline, they've gone left, they've gone right. Major pirouetting in the middle. He's just throwing it to anybody who'd back up, and then they give it to the speedster, Rokocoko. Won't Sailor be worrying that miss? He wanted to make sure head-to-head he was going to put a good game on tonight, and he's just burnt him on the outside.
Well, he still has 3/4 of the game to redeem himself, but New Zealand asked questions of South Africa's defence out wide last week. The Springboks came up well short, and the All Blacks have hit the lead here in Sydney. From touch, no joy. All Blacks 8, Australia 5. So Joe Rokocoko, he's just out of his teens. Magnificent athlete, and it's 1 try apiece.
Australia need to get their hands on the ball. They need to get through some phases now. Important that Elton Flatley gets a lot of hang time in this ball. Gives his forwards a chance to get the ball back.
Well taken by Chris Jack. So New Zealand having restored confidence after the early setback. Just looking a little more coherent than the Aussies at the moment. Just muscling up and working their way to the 12-metre line.
Territory, but they've really competed well for the ball.
Torai Kepu tapping it down. Cannon having a stormer tonight in the tight forwards for Australia. Stephen Larkham. Here comes Muliaina and Sailor. Oh, you can't do that. Dangerous play. That's a no-brainer, Wendell.
Didn't keep his eye on the ball. All he did was look at the player. You can't take the player when he's off his feet. You see Wendell Sailor only has his eyes on the player, Muliaina.
He'll go for 10 here. And yes, he has. Frederick's gone to the pocket. He's pulled out the yellow card. And that's exactly what Australia didn't want. Wendell Sailor knows better than that. And that is a big blunder.
So Wendell Sailor, who's been probably Australia's best back attacking-wise in the Bundaberg Rum Rugby Series, blots his copybook. Dangerous play on Muliaina and a big setback for the Wallabies. It's 8-5 New Zealand. The Wallabies a man down.
Wendell Sailor will not be happy with the way he's gone on this so far.
So Big Del is sitting in the sin bin, and by anyone's estimation he's had a shocker so far, Wendell Sailor, and Muliaina is up and okay, and it's New Zealand with a 3-point advantage and the extra man.
That's a crucial decision for the Wallabies against the Wallabies, especially running the All Blacks running into this stiff breeze in the first half. They have a chance now to put more points on the board running into the breeze.
The biggest problem that Wendell Sailor had in that last move was actually he didn't attack the ball in the air. He had plenty of time to get there and actually backed off.
He had a brain explosion. Well taken by Giffen at the front. So Larkham again searching for big meters, almost to the halfway line.
Well, they've been criticised, the Wallabies, for their line-out work, but clearly David Giffen, the line-out leader, just having a chat to Ali Williams and also to Chris Jack, saying, well, how about that one? There's plenty going on out there, I'll tell you. He's given them a golf ball on their way back.
So David Giffen jumping at the front here against Williams, and it's pinched by the Wallabies. Bad throw, Mialamu. Gregan to Larkham. Easily taken here by Dougie Howlett. Then to Muliaina with the better angle. Muliaina's brothers, Far and Alasana, who play for West Harbour, in the crowd tonight.
Muliaina making sure the kick went out, but Australia have to look after the ball. They have to give themselves a chance to attack. You can't score tries without the rugby ball.
14 minutes left in this half. Australia have got to pick up the intensity. They've got the wind at their backs. They've got to use it.
And it's probably not with width. The forwards are going to have to step up to the mark.
Australia did well to recover there. Smith and Gregan. Very flat pass to War. Wallabies just a little disorganised from that untidy line-out ball. Larkin standing very deep here. Will he attempt a drop goal? No. A Gary Owen. Here comes Burke. Lost the heads. Muliaina's mate Mialamu is offside.
Well, another brains explosion. That time to pick the ball up in front of the player that last played it. Great kick. And right into the trouble zone. One going back, one going forward. Another one comes from an offside position. Penalty, the Wallabies.
Mind you, if Mialamu didn't take that ball, Australia probably would have scored, so it wasn't a bad option.
It was really, he only had two options, Stephen Larkham, was a field goal or put the ball up high. He only had three players outside of him. Amount of Wallabies players that were attracted to the ruck, that was his only option.
12 minutes before the end of to half-time. Australia have got to take these chances here. Burke's got to make sure that he gets the 3 points. They chip away. They come back after that. They receive the ball again, and they keep the ball, as was mentioned before, keep it in hand, keep getting the points little bit by little bit, chip away, and build the pressure on the Blacks.
So this kick for Matthew Burke, almost the spot where he kicked the winning penalty last year. He likes it there. Scores a level. All 8 points to Matthew Burke for the Wallabies.
History really shows that when you have a player in the sin bin, the opposition usually puts points on. It's important the Wallabies keep, as Dan said, keep chipping away and keep gaining possession.
And Matthew Burke refused to take a shot at practice yesterday from that spot. Who said he's superstitious?
Not wanting to use up all that good luck, and it worked tonight. There's the man. He's going to come on with 5 minutes to go before the end of half-time, and he'll be wanting to make a redemption.
Here's Kepu. Straight into Ali Williams. So breathing space for the Wallabies. Mistake by Mialamu from a very good Larkham high kick. Now he's in a bit of bother. But he wriggled out. Bernie Larkham over the 22. A flash of inspiration. And Elton Flatley. Oh, that's a reassuring kick from him. Down to the 10-metre line. Fantastic relief from Elton Flatley.
Well, that's the bonus of having two fly halves and recognise open field kickers in your team. Larkham took it forward and took it forward well. He got great support when isolated. Nearly turned it over, but War is having an outstanding game, and Flatley banged it down into touch.
And that's the Larkham of old. He jinks left, he just gets a little bit of a gap, and he threw it and away.
Well, it must have been Mum's honey sponge and Anzac Vickies, which were baked by Maureen this morning and delivered to the hotel.
Gordon, where do you get them from? You are amazing.
I think he was waiting at the hotel. But Chris Jack looking back at Kevin Mialamu and saying, come on, mate, give me something I can catch.
You had a very positive game, apart from these leaking scrums. Now get it right and wait for me. Time on. Crouching hold. Engage. Keep it up.
So the Australians now playing with a lot more assurance as Flatley makes good meters. Quick ball here for Larkham. He's going to test them again. Muliaina getting plenty of treatment. Here comes Cannon. He took him out in the air. The mark's paid. Cannon took him out while he was in the air, but the referee was happy.
No.
Very close call, but once again the Wallabies not keeping the ball in hand, wanting to keep putting the All Blacks under pressure. Here we see Cannon, same tackle as Wendell Sailor, very lucky to stay on the field.
Shocker, Tony Spreadbury, should have been a penalty of the All Blacks, and Wendell got a yellow card, could have been a second.
And again, they forgot to attack the ball. This hasn't gone out.
Here's Larkham, playing as a second fullback. Muliaina. Spencer calls for it. Rokothoko's out on the left. Spencer gets it over the 22.
Great defence, David Giffen. He hunted that man and kept going after him.
Aaron Major, like Flatley, has that great general kicking skill. Here's Burke. And superb kick from that man, the number 12, Aaron Major for New Zealand. He's only 3 tests in the last 12 months since the Bledisloe due to injury.
And Matt Burke, our former 7 commentator, when he was injured, chipped the ball from the sideline straight into the hand.
Interesting statistic from Stephen Larkham. 10 kicks, 4 passes and only 1 run.
And that's smart play by Larkham, because what he's doing there, he realises he wants to keep the ball down in the All Black territory. Keep the ball in front of his forwards. Again, another great win by Australia at the line-out.
It was David Giffen. Now Lottie Nakiri. Hasn't seen much of it. Marshall underneath. Gregan and Flatley. Larkham is a second receiver here. Trying to drill that one to touch Muliaina. Looking to link up with Howlett. Rokothoko's there as well. George Smith hauls him down just short of halfway. Now Marshall.
Wait.
Wallaby sneaking up. Mialamu the hooker. But Brendan Cannon's been standing out in midfield and defence with the flankers. That's McCaw. Better build up from New Zealand. Aaron Major. He beat Noriega. Howlett all the way. Poor defence, Australia. The All Blacks back in the outright lead.
Well, again, Robbie Deans would be delighted with that. Aaron Major, the Crusaders' best. He saw the thing and had a go.
It's about sniffing out the opposition and the front rowers, and Noriega not up to it.
Lovely work from Aaron Major. Drew 2 in at the end to give the ball away to the speedster. And Doug Howlett, he's under the post just before half-time.
Major knew where the gap was. He nearly got through it all himself. but he found Howlett, who's just looking so much for work. Great try under the sticks.
22 tries in 30 test matches. What a strike rate for Dougie Howlett.
13 plays 8.
Make it 15. So Wendell Sailor about to come back on the field. And Big Dell.
So far, Australia 13 missed tackles, New Zealand 6. And that is the telling statistic, because when Australia missed tackles, the New Zealanders are putting points on the board.
So well-placed restarts. Marshall now to clean up, working in with Nialamu, who is a former flanker. Gets around the field like one as well, the hooker. Spencer standing just outside the 22. McCaw. War is there with Kefu. They lost ground. Now Spencer. Umanga. Muliaina. Got away from Rogers, and another one for Rokotoko. They won't catch him. It's only Takiri, but it's no contest. Australia exposed horribly out wide. The All Blacks get their third try.
Well, Gordon, you said it before, Wendell's having a shocker, but he still gets wide of the defence. Unbelievably quick, this man right down the far flank. Great try.
The try was created way back inside the All Blacks 22. The Australian defence was too tight. They didn't have the numbers, and Rokotoko pinned his ears back, little in and away to finish. Over in the corner for his second one tonight.
How fast is that bloke? I don't think I could beat him in my car.
Well, Dougie Howlett was the national schoolboys sprint champion in New Zealand, but this man is faster than Howlett over 40 metres. Howlett has run 10.7. Rokotoko is quicker than Howlett.
And you understand why for Auckland they were so good. Howlett, Rokotoko, Valnella Mbapa.
How would Wendell Sailor be feeling? He's standing on the sideline warming up, just about to come back on.
Too many missed tackles again out wide by the Aussies. That's been a real Achilles heel tonight.
I think what the All Blacks are doing, they're attracting the defenders in close at the rucks, and then Spencer's getting some width on his passes, getting them out in front, and the Australian defenders are struggling to pick up the players out wide.
So Spencer has pushed it wide. It remains at 20-8 in favour of the All Blacks. Wendell Sailor being called back onto the field. Brilliant finish by Rokotoko.
The old saying for Wendell Sailor, he needs to just get back on the horse.
So 2 tries scored by New Zealand in Sailor's absence. Ali Williams and the All Blacks losing the ball. Australia desperately needs some points before half-time. 3.5 to go. Now Rogers. Pass was knocked down. Sailor. He's going backwards, but now he makes ground. Good work by Sailor. Gregan. Good line for the Wallabies. Larkham. Flatley. Defence covers up well. And Australia loses ahead.
Gee, that was unfortunate that Elton Flatley couldn't get the pass away to his right-hand side. He had 2 players unmarked outside.
Great work. He got it into space, but it was a terrific tackle from Umanga. He just stuck on him. Larkham then tries to pick up and go to the support.
Come on, lads, give it up. Please, mate, up and square and straight in. Come on.
Terrific tackle there by big Chris Jack, who's so mobile for a big man. New Zealand scrum feed. 2.5 before the half-time break.
Good scrum by Australia, good wheeling scrum and pressure on the All Blacks.
Wallabies looking stunned at the moment, as is the vast crowd of over 80,000.
Let it go, advantage!
dominated by Gold Scarves. Holding on in the tackle, and it's within penalty range for Matthew Burke.
Excellent work by Phil Waugh. You could see just inside the little ferret, he was off, he's still on his feet. Good vision there, leaning over the ball. He hadn't gone to ground and trying to reap it back. The referee, Spreadbury, in excellent position, and a penalty well worth it.
Well, the Wendell Sailor sin binning proving a disaster on the scoreboard for the Wallabies, but they can peg back 3 here and make it reasonably respectable, closing on half-time at 20-11, a 9-point deficit. But Burke's got to get it. Let's have a look at the AXA angle. And it's about 31 degrees. And he's on, or just beyond, the 22. So this is a huge kick for Matthew Burke and the Wallaby team that has been set back on its heels by the brilliant outside backs of New Zealand. A timely reply, 9 points the difference. We're now into injury time.
That shows you how much respect George Gregan has for the All Blacks. Normally he'd kick for the corner and go for the 7 points, but Australia need to keep the scoreboard ticking over. The 3 points just before half-time, very important.
Well, the twin playmakers, Carlos Spencer and Aaron Major, really causing major headaches for the Wallaby defence. This is Vickerman, and he's taken in a bear hug there by Ali Williams. Rogers. Doug Howlett underneath, but Rogers gaining big ground. They play on quickly to Spencer. They're looking to counter here. Bill Young and Phil Waugh coming up. Mistake by Muliaina. Rokothoko, who scored 2 tries tonight for New Zealand. Flicked on by Spencer to Williams. Offside play Australia. Playing advantage here. Well, they'll try and have a dip. See if they can increase this lead.
Australia must keep composure. They must keep this defence rock solid. The All Blacks will throw it around.
Australia looking tired. Now Howlett to Keary. Didn't put him to ground. Brendan Cannon does.
Isn't he having a whale of a game in defence?
But Australia looking disorganised in defence. Mialamu. New Zealand stalking for a bonus point try.
6 offside.
And some very tired Wallaby players.
And the All Blacks kept the ball in hand, kept probing, and they got exactly what they were after. A penalty within kicking range right on half-time.
There we saw Lottie Takiri, George Smith penalised for that, but Lottie Takiri bounced off the tackle of Doug Howlett, let him go, and that's where the All Blacks got the advantage, got in behind the advantage line of Australia and keep putting them under pressure, and then maintaining the ball.
Well, there were some very tired Australian players. They were looking for somewhere to lie down as New Zealand kept it alive. Some very deep breaths being taken by the Wallaby forwards.
The first 20 minutes, Australia worked on their defence, and it was something that they were able to keep putting pressure on the All Blacks. The second 20 minutes is where they've let themselves down. If they don't have defence, which has been poor in the second 20 minutes, they're not going to be in this race.
Well, this will be a killer blow to the solar plexus of the Wallaby. 20 plays 11. Spencer's pretty happy. So are the touch judges. And it's all New Zealand. And it's all Kiwi wingers. Rokothoko and Howlett. 3 tries between them. 23-11 at the break.
We expected an exciting encounter. We've got 4 tries in the first half. The star of the match so far, New Zealand's Joe Rokothoko. He's crossed twice, and the Kiwis lead 23 points to 11. The thoughts of Michael Liner, John Gallagher and Dewi Morris after the break.
Wallabies. Well taken there by Vickerman. And now George Gregan. Wallabies going wide.
Good option there by Matt Burke. 1 pass wide off the ruck. They need to get the ball down the other end of the field, but they're running into a pretty stiff breeze.
This is going to be hard for the Wallabies in the 37 tests they've played since the last Rugby World Cup. Whenever they led at half-time, they've won them all. Whenever they've trailed at 17 times, they've only won 3. This will be difficult. Only 60% of the possession the All Blacks have. The Wallabies have missed 17 tackles.
And that line-out giant, Phil Waugh, pinches another one. Here's Rogers. He's well wrapped up, though, in midfield. George Gregan now, looking for some quick ball for Larkham. But as we've seen so often, Larkham's having to kick out from defence, and the chance now for New Zealand to take it back towards halfway. Stephen Larkham, 12 from halfway. Rokotoko in front. Well read by Marshall. And Muliaina again. Larkham and Gregan, the Brumbies teammates, in concert.
Steady, scrum there, he couldn't avoid it. No, steady.
Going forward, no maul. Fair call there by the referee. Not happy.
He has been very fair, Tony Spreadbury. He's spoken to them quickly. I was concerned about him being up with play, but he's been right there.
Well, his next door neighbour is Ed Morrison, who refereed the World Cup final in 1995.
That'd be interesting cups of coffee, wouldn't it?
In between whistle blowing and singing.
I'd hate to be the other neighbour.
Matthew Burke. Again, Australia kicking it straight back to New Zealand, who can punch here. But Burke did superbly. Spencer wants it. Jack. Gregan. That was a poor attempt to tackle by George Gregan as Jack makes 20 metres. Offside play by the Australians. Somerville cleaning out Bickerman.
And he towelled him on the short side as well.
Again, missed tackles. Australia cannot afford to have missed tackles. They're letting the All Blacks get in behind, get a roll on. Bickerman trying to clean the ball out, rightly so, with Marshall having his hands on it, but then Somerville coming in, seeing the body there, looking for the cheap shot.
Interesting decision this. He's choosing not to go for the post. They're choosing to keep the pressure on. They will protect this lead.
Well, they will remember the very tired faces of the Aussies before the half-time break. Australia's had a very physical preparation for this game. It's lightened up in the latter stages, but New Zealand really wanting to take on the Wallabies. Up front first, and they've certainly done it out wide.
The All Black back spread right across the width of the field.
This is Major. Rokotoko. Look at the speed. Muliaina. Well, the Wallabies have really looked pretty ordinary out wide.
And again, they're spread across the field.
This is Ali Williams. Phil Waugh trying to pinch it.
Leave it.
Marshall comes in. Well, the referee said leave it alone. But the Wallabies were like a kid in the candy store.
Well, gee, the All Blacks, they really know how to play. They know their game plan. You can see every player knows where to go. If you're not needed at the ruck, they're giving Carlos Spencer options wide and close.
So it's 23-11 in favour of New Zealand.
New Zealand will chip away. Smart work by Carlos Spencer, just getting it down into the Australian line, making sure he can then go for the points.
So Carlos Spencer. Eight points so far. 2 penalties and a conversion. And all the tries coming from Rokotoko 2 and Howlett 1. This for a 15-point margin. Not a problem for the All Blacks. Carlos just limping a little, slightly inconvenient. Ben Darwin looks as though he's going to be replacing Noriega.
This has been Darwin's opportunity. Much has been said about Pardo Noriega playing a 50-50 role. Everybody in the rugby community knows Noriega can play a lot better than he has, and this is the opportunity that Darwin gets to show his wares and stay as the #1 prop in the team.
So Flatley's restart to Williams on the 22. With New Zealand under no pressure with that restart. And Spencer now. Hurried kick, good pressure. Matthew Burke. Saylor wants his hands on the ball. Takiri's out here. Great pass from Saylor. But a brilliant tackle from Umaga. And offside play there by New Zealand. Referee not playing advantage. You could see the All Black player wasn't bound there as he came through. Larkham tries to bulldoze. Now War. Build up. Patience needed here from the Aussies. Kefu.
This is better by Australia, building phases, making the All Blacks make tackles.
But they can't go one out. They must have support.
Gregan. Misunderstanding sums up Australia's night so far.
And the All Blacks would love it. At the moment, they're just watching the mistakes happen in front of them. George Gregan thinking that the man will stay on the outside, and he just looks in abject disgust. Palpable feelings.
So New Zealand's had major problems in their line-out. Smith comes through on Jack, and that's a shocker from Marshall. But Aaron Major there to steady the ship. So plenty of mistakes coming from the All Blacks, but Australia hasn't been able to capitalise.
It took how well Flatley was playing that second 5/8 role, but Major's quintessential performance against the Springboks, and again here showing how well he is in his team.
So well taken there by David Giffen. Flatley now, and Kefu. He was punished in midfield. Gregan and Larkham looking to create some space for Burke. 10 from halfway. That's Ben Darwin. Reuben Thorne underneath. George Smith. Huge tackle there by Nialamu. Saylor's thrown a wild pass infield, but a scrum ball for the men in goal.
This is where Australia have got to get that composure back. George Gregan, Todai Kefu have got to get them, bring their men in. We see George Smith throwing the ball behind him, giving it to a man who's in a worse position, and then Wendell Saylor flicking it out the back to nobody. Australia can't afford to do this. They've got to get that composure back.
Here's Smith. Spotted the gap to Gregan. It's Saylor. Same haircut, slightly taller. Flatley. And Takiri now. New Zealand haul him in. But it's on. Kiwi side of halfway. Rogers elusive. Straight to Howlett. And here they go. Jack's out here. So is Hewitt. And what about the left foot kick? Oh my goodness. Centimetres inside the corner post. Takiri saying it went touch in goal, but it didn't, you know.
But here it came, all came from the pass from Rogers, a one-handed speculator around the corner. You can't do that, you must control the ball, and then a left-footed kick that just ended up 1 metre inside the post.
Watch it creep inside. The All Blacks will contest.
That's Bickerman at the back. Wallabies on their heels here. And Larkham with a hurried clearance. No touch. Rokothoko. Spencer wants it. Out wide is Muliaina and Dougie Howlett as well. New Zealand counter. Muliaina and Umaga. Lovely step. Another one. And a bonus point. It's turning into a massacre here at Telstra Stadium.
Black try. They want to run with the ball. You can see the smiles on their faces. Umunga, Rokothoko, a 30-metre pass. Spencer, a 30-metre pass. Muliaina, just a little left-handed flick back inside to Umunga, who stands up George Smith.
The understanding that the All Black outside backs have is in complete contrast to how the Wallabies are performing out wide. They have the understanding and they have the penetration.
Well, we can only admire the skill, the flair, the pace of this New Zealand back division. Umunga absolutely superb there, but it was Spencer who wanted to really run it back at the Aussies from a kick that didn't get the touch. 4 tries to 1. And now Spencer with a chance to increase the margin to 22. The Kiwis are playing 7-a-side rugby in the backs from broken play, embarrassing Australia's defence as Spencer raises the flags. 33 plays 11. So Latham's on for Matthew Burke. And a significant replacement for Australia, but it's Matthew Burke departing, and not the happiest nights for the number 15, but Chris Latham now, hopefully to inject something for the Australians who aren't in the contest at 33-11. It's all New Zealand here in Sydney. And Spencer looking for the touch.
And this is that relentless procession forward. The smile of Carlos Spencer just tells it all. They're comfortable, they're cruising. The pressure on the Wallaby.
He has complete control at the moment, Carlos Spencer. Australia now, we will see what intestinal fortitude this team has. Had they got enough guts to be able to tough it out and come back?
Halfway line, New Zealand hold their line-out ball. Aaron Major. Spencer on the loop. Controlled support from the number 10. And Latham now. But he just put a foot on the touchline. Probably just as well, because the kick went in field and New Zealand would have counted again.
Great to see Latham on the field, but he had his foot out before he even kicked the ball.
Good opportunity for Chris Latham. He's got some time now to show what his attacking skills are about. With the game just about gone, as you see Carlos Spencer coming off the field, he's done the job that was asked of him.
Daniel Carter is on for New Zealand, the exciting youngster from the Crusaders for his 3rd test match as Kefu goes over the 10-metre line.
Spencer has a heavily strapped hamstring. It may have been that's let him down. But what a game.
Here's Rogers. He's beaten 4, 5, 7. What a run by Rogers. Finally, Marshall brings him to ground. Ben Darwin. Hewitt was the tackler. Larkham calls for it. What can the Aussies do here? Flatley taken a little high. Around the collar. Bill Waugh's out here. Playing advantage. Darwin again. New Zealand just relaxing here. Australia coming back. Larkham. Lovely work by Larkham. Final pass doesn't go to ground, but the try's on here for the Wallabies. Touch judge will be in here for the high tackle.
Better continuity by the Wallabies. Better phases. Elton Flatty, you see, taken high here by Daniel Carter. Tony Spredbury played a long advantage. The Wallabies playing with more width and getting across the advantage line.
Well, it was a high tackle, but it wasn't malicious. And just a penalty. That's, I think a yellow card would be very harsh here. That he's going for it.
That's a tough call. As you said, it wasn't malicious. It was just actually grabbing him as he went past.
Take advantage. Please go steady. Okay? Thank you.
Oh, he was just boxing, tricking us. He's a poker player.
It's a beautiful piece of playing.
Nice go, please.
He must have had an itch in that pocket there, Buddha.
Yeah, just a great time. The look on Daniel Carter's face said it all. Oh, no.
What do you think of the new All Black outfit there Daniel Carter's wearing at the moment? With that, he looks a little bit more like he should be on the New Zealand bobsled team.
The well-performed New Zealand bobsled team. Here's Vickerman.
Sharp into it. He's replaced Vickerman.
So Sharp took that ball and Kefu crashes there into McCaw. Gregan now. Wallabies looking for their second try. Rogers. Umaga wrapped him up.
Let go!
Chris Latham was in there as well. And Australia not releasing.
Well, I think they've worked out very quickly, Tim Horan, that Matt Rogers doesn't pass the ball often.
No, he's their most lethal weapon, but he needs to open his eyes and look for his support out wide. He's made some great breaks tonight, but the defence of the All Blacks as they kick long in behind Wendell Sailor.
Well, it's certainly caution to the wind for the Australians. And clever play by Larkham. Now he's got to drop it inside the touchline, but the kick wasn't his best. Jerry Collins, Muliaina calls for it. Umanga's outside him. And here's Lottie Takiri. That's probably one of New Zealand's worst kicks tonight. Takiri goes himself. Here's Gregan. Australia keeping it alive here. Latham went without it. Lost it in contact. Referee plays advantage.
No fullback for the Wallabies. Someone must get back there.
It's just deteriorating for the men in goal at the moment. Hewitt. Latham's back into position. 33 plays 11. The All Blacks in total command here. Carter. They gap him again, and it's another try. Australia's being humiliated here in the Bledisloe Cup at Telstra Stadium.
Well, Daniel Carter, lucky to be on the field. Thought he was going to be in the sin bin 2 minutes earlier. Throws a lovely dummy. Here's Chris Latham. Umaga just knocks the ball out of his hands. And from this play, the All Blacks went left-hand side. Lovely wide ball by Marshall. Carter just showed and went. Had the pace, and Chris Latham gave up the chase. And the All Blacks over again.
The Wallabies had 1,000 in cover. Carter showed it, ball in two hands. He returns it to two and dummy. Straightens clear pass to the try. They're having a picnic, the Blacks.
Matt Rogers looking for outside Carter, not taking his man. He's let him slip on the inside. Fatal mistake. Coming across in cover was Torai Kefu, but he didn't have enough speed to be able to catch him. Easy pickings for Carter.
All the young players watching at home, the young rugby players, the way that Daniel Carter ran with the ball in two hands is very difficult to defend against. Didn't tuck it under one arm, only when he went to dive for the try line. He kept it in two hands all the way.
Carter just hitting the upright. 38-11. It's a one-act affair in this second half.
Well, will Australia be absolutely demoralised here, or will they start showing some ticker?
Well, New Zealand have shown what they can do on a hard, dry field. They've had a lot of wet weather across the Tasman for the earlier test matches, but in South Africa last week and here in Sydney, they have relished the going. And they have blitzed Australia out wide. Some very poor defence by the outside backs in this Wallaby team.
Well, the Wallabies need to use the ball now. The game's pretty much gone. They have to get something out of the game. George Gregan really has to show his leadership skills now and make sure that they've got a game in a week's time and they get confidence out of the next few minutes in the match.
But they've got to make sure they don't do what they just did a minute ago, and that's throw the ball around willy-nilly. If they throw it around with no purpose, then the All Blacks will pounce, and then they will hit Australia hard and they will rack up a big score.
Gregan and Sailor. Lovely running by Sailor, and what a step. He'll get his try here. Big Wendell. Yes! That's a brilliant try to Sailor. And some consolation kickings for the Wallabies.
He worked so beautifully off the ruck. First up, hit, broke, used his jig. And look how proudly he's walking. He wasn't going so well early, but this is superb.
Missed tackle there by Reuben Thorne, first up. And Sailor's power over the top there of Muliaina.
As we see here on the Qantas wing cam, the exact same move that Wendell Sailor scored in Melbourne against England. And he wanted this try. He wanted to get back on the horse. Still a lot of work for the Wallabies to do.
And Wendell will be very happy because the man he stepped was the man who breezed past him earlier in the game. So Rokocoko is still up there, but Wendell is starting to claw his way back.
So 20 minutes to go in the game. And it's now Elton Flatley with the kicking duties as Matthew Burke has departed. So the players coming out early. There's no charge this time. They came out prematurely. If you do that, they've just the second time got to stand their ground. So less pressure for Flatley, or will it distract him?
You wonder whether he should have gone back to the start of his routine.
I was going to say the same thing, Buddha. I thought he should have, like a golfer, reset the tee and gone again.
Last week, New Zealand playing South Africa. Wendell, he didn't worry about trying to do the second sidestep, did he? He did the Maori sidestep. He gave the New Zealanders a little bit back. But can he give them a little bit more before this game is over? Last week we saw New Zealand blow away South Africa, and everybody thought, well, South Africa mustn't have played well. But we've seen here tonight so far how good New Zealand are actually playing.
Tole Kefu then to Larkham. And Australia taking play up towards halfway. Gaining only 20 metres or so. Can the Wallabies mount a resurgence in this last quarter of the game? Commanding All Black team. 5 tries to 2, 38 plays 16.
Let's go, come on!
Case Muse is on the field at the back. Who wants it? Phil Ward does. Kefu. Nice step from him. New Zealand just starting to fall off a few tackles now. And that's Nathan Sharp. Gregan. Larkham. Back inside to Sailor. He's met front on there by Justin Marshall. Smith. Wallabies starting to play some of their best football now. When the match is seemingly all over, but they still would be thinking they have some hope with 20 minutes to go. Tries are needed. Larkham. That's Darwin.
Australia playing a completely different style of rugby to New Zealand. Australia in first, second, third and fourth phase, you can nearly throw a blanket over them. New Zealand completely different. Every time the first, second and third phase, you don't know what they're going to do. They're spread right across the field, and that's the difference. That's where the danger comes.
Brad Thorne and Owen Finnegan prowling the touchline. I think Thorne will get on shortly. Gregan gets into space and tries he may to get that ball across his body to support that would have been blocked anyway. But he looks up to see the referee give a penalty.
Hauled down there by big Case Muse as Gregan looks across to say, who was that?
It's important for the Wallabies now and George Gregan to lead his side. With 17 minutes remaining in the match, they must go for another 2 tries to look for that bonus point.
And psychologically as well, okay, they had a good first 20 minutes. The second 20 minutes in the first half was where they let their bundle down. But this is where, if they can't come back and actually get a win, psychologically they've got to go away from this game going, yes, we did have a bad 20 minutes, but we're coming back into it.
Well, they've had a dreadful middle 40 minutes, Australia. New Zealand leading 38-11 at one point. 38-16, 22 points the margin. Giffen did well. Here's Gregan. And now Larkham. Latham. They work it short side again for Sharp. Case Hughes getting through some very good tackling since he's been on the field. Larkham again. And Flatley. Phil Waugh. Referee spotted some offside play. Smith. Australia needs 5 points, not 3. And Gregan takes the soft option there.
I'm a little bit confused about Australia's structure at the moment. They've just had 5 or 6 phases of play, and every time they've run back into where the thickest amount of defence of the Kiwis are.
Exactly right, Dan. And they're frightened to move it wide. I think the All Blacks have them spooked with the pace they're showing and the cover.
16 minutes to go. Glum Australian coach's bench.
That is not a happy look.
So Kepu at the front. Here's Larkham. Flatley running into the thick of the All Black midfield defence. Now Kepu. He's caught behind the advantage line. Gregan to Takiri. Howlett comfortably. Back to the 22.
What the All Blacks are doing well in defence, they're only committing 2 or 3 players to the breakdown, which is allowing their defensive line to get width and come up with pace.
Great ball, quick hands, slipped in behind, but Lottie Takiri wasn't on the fly.
So here's Larkham. Almost through, but Mialamu stayed with him. He went over halfway. So All Blacks offside out on this line area. Gregan. That's Nathan Sharp. Good work here for Waugh. He can drive in close. Still one-dimensional though. Here's Kepu. Gregan. Suddenly they're finding the holes on either side of the ruck. No halfback here. Kepu comes in. He muscles another 3 or 4 metres. Here they go for Larkham. Rogers standing up Umaga. Well caught from behind though by Major. Larkham again. Larkham, where's the support? And lost ahead by the Aussies, just 8 metres out.
Need to be careful of a breakout here.
Carter heaves it downfield to Latham, who needs some support.
And look at the wall of black.
Good clean out by Sailor. Takiri now with a chance. He backs himself, but good defence by Hewitt.
Well, the
10 metre line.
The All Blacks now are not reacting. They're sitting on their lead. They must keep moving up in defence, and they've caused a turnover.
Darwin isolated, moved in quickly to pick up. Then got right out. It was Bill Young, I think. Bill Young or Ben Darwin.
It's very one-dimensional from the Australians. Just one out running.
Steve Larkham
Very
went
predictable.
through Justin Marshall. Just hang on. Stephen Larkham waiting for his support. Where are you? I want to offload.
But as you mentioned, it's one-dimensional stuff.
38-16, New Zealand. So Owen Finnegan's on for George Smith. Aussies running even more changes now. George Smith has departed. Owen Finnegan's on. Brendan Cannon's off to the blood bin.
And
Adam Fryer on.
It'll need to be Fryer coming on Cole to mark up against Kevin Mialamu.
Well taken by Jack. Mialamu. This is Major who's gone into fly half. And Jerry Collins straight into Larkham. Comfortable ground gained here for New Zealand. Ruben Thorne and obstruction. The Aussies grateful for small mercies here.
Well, since Spencer has gone off the field, they've lacked a bit of momentum, the All Blacks. Reuben Thorne cuts through Finnegan and then belts Elton flat on.
I think the All Blacks are keen to get off the pitch, get into the nice warm showers. But the Wallabies here, they need to create something. They need to use the width on the field and create something special.
Everybody's been talking about Rogers, Dakiri and Sailor. Australia just got to get the ball to him with a bit of space.
Again, a loose throw, but they've cleaned up well. Marty Holler did it, and he's Howlett. Latham in front, the only Wallaby. And a grand covering tackle there by Chris Latham.
Fantastic tackle, Chris Latham. Showed him the sideline like he did to Jason Robinson a couple of years ago in the British Lions. And this time, shows him the sideline. And
very brave effort, as you say, Tim, to give this man 5 metres. And Howlett backed himself. Desperate lunging tackle by Chris Latham. Well done.
Geez, he only just got him, though.
You only have to just get them. Steve Kefu on for Elton Flatley.
So Australia's hold on the Bledisloe Cup, brittle at best at the moment. New Zealand will have to win the return clash in Auckland. They've won this match here in Sydney. And it's Carter, Muliaina, and a hat-trick for Rokotoko. That's rubbing it in. The mother of all hidings here for the Wallabies, equaling New Zealand's highest ever score against Australia in Test rugby.
well, what can you say about Rokotoko? Here we see New Zealand win the ball at the line out and come down with the ball, but they've had too much space, too much width, put a decoy play on, and Wendell Sailor had to come in on the second last player, which then allowed Rokotoko over in the corner.
This try-scoring machine, successive hat-tricks, and they did it easy with that width and the pace we've been talking about all night. Not even the new Wallaby combination on could stop it.
But it's also the deft handling skills, the precision of the New Zealand backline. He scored 3 tries against the French. He scored 10 now in 5 test matches. The Nandi speed machine. Proudly New Zealand.
They make it look so easy, don't they? Beautiful hands across the back line.
Daniel Carter. And pushing it wide, it's 43-16.
Well, massive changes.
Stephen Larkham with the restart. Well taken by the Australians. David Giffen there. Here's Larkham. And Steve Kefu on the field now. Sailor. Umaga drove him backwards. Gregan looking to work it to Larkham, but sharp. And just too predictable from the Australians. Sleight of hand from Gregan. 10-metre line. New Zealand territory.
Still advantage for the Wallabies. They need to use the ball, and now they get the penalty.
Again, Australia are staying and doing the same thing. They've realised it's not working, but they keep ramming their head into the same wall. They've got to look at doing something different.
And slowing it down and killing it, okay? I will use the card, talk to them. Time off.
Tony Spreadbury there, laying the law down.
The score now has a very similar resemblance to 1996 Wellington. And Australia have to fight back in the final few minutes of this test match.
Except that was incredibly wet conditions, and this is fast and dry, and both seem to suit the All Blacks. The following week, after defeats like that, the Wallabies hit back.
So the attendance. And I'd query that figure, 62,000. I think it probably should be 82.
There aren't too many empty seats out there tonight, Gordon.
So Adam Fryer Nathan Sharp in the middle. Larkham charging onto this ball. Here's Saylor again. Major stayed with him. Finnegan supported. Can Australia finish off? Larkham, Kefu, Brad Thorne. Finnegan burrows in. Here's Larkham. Takiri presents it nicely here for David Giffen. Saylor going nowhere.
Australia trying to probe, but again, New Zealand up to the task.
Carlos Spencer, well, absolutely dynamic as the playmaker, perhaps carrying a slight injury into the game, and confirming the attendance of 82,096.
Carlos Spencer having a whale of a game tonight. You give him an inch and he takes a mile, and he took 2 miles tonight. Can Australia salvage some pride in the dying minutes of this game?
And as we thought, 82,000+ people watching this. Big percentage of Wallaby supporters disappointed, but some very happy All Blacks in the crowd.
Australia needs 4 tries. Finnegan stumbles over there. 4 tries for the bonus point. They've got to get 2 in the last 6 minutes. Not impossible. Here's Kefu. And Chris Latham. Again, well taken by Aaron Major. Here's Larkham. Almost cut in 2. Gregan and Finnegan. Look at the strength of Jerry Collins. Australia really running out of ideas here. Bill Waugh. But they've still got to just maintain possession. The try will come. Sharp.
No problem.
Again, Australia probing and probing. One side they've got 6, 7, maybe 8 players lined up against the same amount of All Blacks. On the opposite side, there is absolutely no All Blacks at all, but they're not throwing the ball to that side and running to it. For some reason, Larkham's vision just isn't there tonight. Brennan Cannon back on from the blood bin, replacing Pryor.
Now, to sum up exactly what you're saying, Dan, the one-dimensional play of the Aussies, they have won the second half ruck and maul by 58 to 10.
I wonder whether this makes another change in the Wallaby backline combination for the game against South Africa at Suncorp Stadium next week. Eddie Jones, the pressure will come on him to get a combination, or will he settle and see if they can hit it out, tough it out.
New Zealand scrum demolishes the Wallaby 8s, and that really rubs nose of the Wallaby team into the Telstra Stadium turf.
And Chris Jack is giving back the gobful he got from David Giffen. What did you think about that one? Case Muse, very powerful.
And what about the wry smile on the face of Greg Somerville sitting in the stand on the bench? He enjoyed it too.
That just sums up the Australian night tonight. They just haven't had, mentally they haven't been there. The big question is for Eddie Jones, has he made the right substitution? Has he picked the right players for this team? And who will he pick next week?
Here's Latham then. Wallabies back there to support him. Finnegan, Cannon. Larkham goes left. Looking to size up Case Muse. Takiri. Got the pass away to Rogers. Rogers away. Try number 3 to the Aussies. As the league converts in concert. It was a great offload there by Lockie Takiri.
Australia have 3 minutes, 45 seconds left to be able to get another try. Finally they throw the ball. Finally we have vision by Larkham. Great pass off the ground. Rogers in the perfect position on that occasion. We finally have seen the speed that he has got to be able to go around Howlett. But Larkham, shaped to go one way, saw the hole, went the other. Dikiri hasn't had much of the ball tonight, but when he got it on that occasion, he was able to flick it up off the ground just as he was going ground, and Rogers in the perfect position to go over in the corner.
So Matt Rogers is a brilliant runner. The question has to be asked, is he an outside centre, or should he be on the wing or at fullback? AXA angle here. And it's a very acute one for Elton Flatley, and he's got injured players just off to his right-hand side, which is going to interrupt his concentration. It's going to be Matt Rogers, in fact, who's attempting this one. Doug Hallett, he's been a hero tonight. One of 4 tries scored by the All Black wingers. Probably just a bit of crap. He's been doing so much running. 2.5 minutes remaining. Margin at 22 points. Just hasn't been Australia's night. It's been a blitzkrieg by this New Zealand team. Matt Rogers getting his 3rd test try.
2.5 minutes to go. Australia can't take their eye off it. It is so important for this tournament that Australia get the bonus point. They must receive the ball. They must not kick it away. They must retain it. They don't need penalties. They need a try.
Australia's Bledisloe domination appears to be in tatters. 43-21. It's going to take a monumental comeback in Auckland. Marty Holler takes it ahead. This is Brad Thorne. New Zealand looking for another try for their highest ever score against the Wallabies. Can they bring up a half century? A converted try and do it. Is it coming? Steve Devine out on the wing.
Probably the wrong bloke to be there. Not enough oomph.
Jerry Collins. Taken to ground by Darwin. No, rubbish.
Rokothoko over on the wing is salivating at the moment to get this ball.
Can he get 4 tries, Rokothoko? Look at the stepping from Major. Oh! And a half century coming up here for the All Blacks. And that completes the humiliation.
And how's that for you? In the exact same place, Torai Kepu reached out and broke New Zealand heart in 2001. Aaron Major does exactly the same. Look at him. Step, step, step over.
Taking them to within reach of the 50 points. He's gone through 2 Australians. There was nothing much Cannon could do at that stage. He did what he had to do and try and hold on to him, but he's put the big reach in.
The 26th of July 2003, the night the All Blacks put 50 on the world champion Wallabies with a record score, 50 points to 21. It wasn't a game, it was a shame for the Aussies. They have been smashed here by this rampant New Zealand team who have run in 7 tries, 4 of those coming in the second half. Well, it certainly is sweet revenge for the visitors. Australia has dominated these Bledisloe Cup matches. They had won 8 of the last 11 before tonight. They'd won 15 of their last 16 tests in Sydney. But that's all history now. And hats off to the New Zealand team for a sublime performance here in Sydney. So the players exchanging, and really it is back to the drawing board for George Gregan, Eddie Jones and the Wallaby team. There's nowhere to hide after this